Hi, everybody. Meteorologist Kevin Lawrence with you as thunderstorms continue to evolve and eventually becoming supercellular in nature. Actually, already are, with indications of baseball-sized hail in McHenry County east of Minot, and tracking this significant storm that is a thunderstorm warned storm here. You can really make out just the structure of the thunderstorm. This is from our Bismarck State College camera, and again, some low-hanging clouds, tornadoes not out of the question with this. Perhaps a little bit of rotation, but still waiting on some new radar scans for that. But it's worth watching very, very closely. I know several storm chasers are on this particular storm, keeping a close eye. And again, possible wall cloud here and eventual rotation. Let's get in on this Sky Tracker Doppler radar. We'll kind of walk through this here. We've already got 4 severe thunderstorm warnings which are issued. We'll start with this southern end here. Again, this is the thunderstorm warning for Mercer and for Oliver County as well. And again, center, get to your safe place here. It's not a tornado warning, but it is a severe thunderstorm warning with perhaps some large and damaging hail. We've already had reports of golf ball size hail 10 miles to the west of Hanover here, and that was reported at 7:25. About 10 minutes ago. Again, golf ball size hail has been reported with this thunderstorm. Let me turn on the hail detection. Again, we can see that hail core here west of center and again southeast of Beulah. Beulah, you do not have a severe thunderstorm warning at the moment, but there is one here for Hazen barely. But again, that hail core, as we can really make out here, just to the south of Hazen, again for portions of Oliver County. Do keep that in mind. In addition to that, we do have a tornado watch here, which goes until 1 o'clock in the morning. And so not only for these thunderstorms, all the way really from the Canadian border to the South Dakota border, we do have a tornado watch. I'm going to go back on these storms here. And again, east of Minot is where things are really picking up in intensity. In the Carlsruhe area, severe thunderstorm warnings here, several of them in McHenry County until 8:15 for this one in particular near Carlsruhe. The hail detection on this one, I'm going to put a track on it. Now, this could be devastating hail. It's most likely, we have reports of baseball-sized hail perhaps coming in just north of Carlsruhe here. And I'm just for the moment going to turn off some of these queries here just to give you a better idea. Again, this is Carlsruhe here in McHenry County. Mike, I don't know if you can go full screen or not. If you can't, that's fine. But again, southeast of Granville, near Carlsruhe, we do have this intense thunderstorm producing a hail track with potential baseball-sized hail. That is not out of the question. And larger than tennis balls anyway, which is 2.5 inch in diameter. I'm going to go back to the wider view here and put a motion on this as well. We'll do this here, and again, showing you these thunderstorms. Minot, you do not have a severe weather threat at this time. It looks like perhaps these severe thunderstorms are going to be staying out of Minot. We got more back in Montana, but that's not until later tonight, if at all. Meanwhile, that thunderstorm warning, here's another one here north of Garrison. Severe thunderstorm warning for McLean and portions of Ward County until 8:15. That storm is moving pretty much due east right now. Max, you do have that severe thunderstorm warning along US 83. And of course, we've got this thunderstorm here, which is again in the center areas I've been covering for Mercer and Oliver County. Again, perhaps up to golf ball size hail, as already reported, golf ball size hail 10 miles to the west of Hanover, excuse me. Anything new, Jacob, coming down the line there?
McHenry County.
Okay, McHenry County, just a new severe thunderstorm warning there with a cluster of thunderstorms and perhaps up to ping pong size hail, but maybe earlier baseball size hail. Let me go back here. And again, one more view. And again, you can really make out there's some circulation going on here. In fact, a pretty good tight rotation with this thunderstorm. This is from our Bismarck State College camera here. And again, you can really make out, just look there. Very evident, can't necessarily see the rotation, but a lowering here. Again, no tornado warning at the moment, but this is worth keeping a very, very close eye on. Signs of rotation. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go back here and go back to velocity. And we can begin to see a little bit of some of the toward the radar versus away from the radar, perhaps a little bit of greens and reds coming together. From this vantage point, it's not super evident, but this could be a loft. We're waiting on some new information to come across the line here, and just to make sure it's not a tornado warning, but it does appear there is at least some mid-level rotation. Don't know whether at the surface. Got a report 6 miles south of Hazen of 1.25 inch diameter hail. That's Oliver County. Again, just under golf ball size hail. A severe thunderstorm warning issued with 1 inch diameter hail. That would be the size of quarters. So this is larger than quarters. We now have a tornado warning here live on the air. Tornado warning for portions of Morton and Oliver County. And again, we can make out that circulation. I'm going to go back, so bear with the clunkiness here. But again, we're going to keep an eye on this here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to step off screen just for a minute as you see this. I'm going to turn the radar. Actually, I'll leave that up here, and I'm going to go to our camera here and see if I can, actually, Jacob, you want to try to control that from over there. We're going to try to zoom in on this wall cloud and the rotation here. So as he's getting that going here, we're going to try to do that and see if we can see anything live on the air. And again, from this vantage point, we can't necessarily see a tornado. That lowering is not a tornado per se, but this could be the area of concern here. Again, this is a pretty good inflow and some rotation going on. We've got that zoomed in. Quite an ominous looking cloud, that is for sure. And we're going to keep a close eye on that. We're going through all the reports here right now, and a lot coming across the line here. But let me just say, as you look at this here, again, that tornado warning for north central Morton County and for southwestern Oliver County until 8:15 Central Daylight Time. At 7:38, a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located 5 miles southwest of Hanover, or 18 miles southeast of Beulah, moving to the east at 25 miles per hour. So let me put a motion on this, and you can kind of make out the red polygon there where we have the warning. And I want those of you in the Bismarck-Mandan area to know this storm could continue turning east and then southeast toward the metro. It is a possibility over the next hour, so remain weather aware. It's critical to know that this storm is beginning to show some signs now of diving a little bit toward the right or toward the southeast, and that would indicate a potential in the Bismarck-Mandan area over the next hour. But for the moment, again, it's about that tornado warning here until 8:15 Central Daylight Time for portions here of Morton and Oliver County. I'm going to go back and turn the velocity on and see how that looks. Again, you can really it's kind of hard to kind of make out, but a little bit of that green and the reds where the green is toward the radar, which is in Bismarck, and away is the red. So again, you can see a lot of red because of the southeast surface winds kind of feeding into that storm here. Kind of hard to make out exactly where the tornado warning is. So I'm going to go back to the other radar here real quick. I'll go to single site and a much better perspective here. And again, you can really make it out. If you're in the center area, make sure that you are going to stay weather aware and, of course, get to your safe place as you technically are on the line of that tornado warning, which also goes to the Sweetbriar Lake area of Morton County. And, of course, Sweetbriar Lake was hit last week, a week ago tonight, with a tornado. So don't know if that's going to happen again. Let's hope not. But, again, we're starting to see a little bit of a sign here. Not necessarily a hook at the moment, but it's becoming more evident on radar here with this single scan here that we might be eventually making out some rotation on this more evident here with a couple of these newer scans. Any new information, Jacob, that you can pass along?
Just the Skywatch camera.
Okay, just the fact that our Skywatch camera, I'm going to go back to that real quick here. You can really make out where the TV tower, or not the TV towers, but it's some kind of a communications towers there on the right-hand side. I'll kind of point that out. This is what we're concerned about right here, really this entire area. but no distinct funnel at the moment. But again, it is certainly a possibility. So if you are in north central Morton County or southwestern Oliver County, again, tornado warning until 8:15 Central Daylight Time with a severe thunderstorm, not confirmed tornado, but capable of producing a tornado located 5 miles southwest of Hanover or 18 miles southeast of Beulah. I'm going to check the National Weather Service chat room here. And let's see, I don't have anything new to report there. So again, there's some chasers on there with the Weather Service, and there's no confirmation of a tornado at this time. So I'm going to go back to radar here for just a moment. And again, we don't want to forget our friends up toward the KMOT viewing area with McHenry County, with the potential for anywhere from ping pong to softball size hail with multiple warnings in McHenry County until 8:15. We got the thunderstorm warning, which includes Max for McLean and Ward counties here. That goes until 8:15. And the one of most importance here is the tornado warning. And again, the general movement of this thunderstorm here, east and then a bit southeast. So again, I'm most concerned about this moving in toward the Mandan and Bismarck area here over the next 1 hour. So we're going to have to really keep a very close eye on that and just remain weather aware. And that is something we are certainly going to do here on the air and, of course, online, on social media as well. All right, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to regroup. We will be right back with you because we do have a tornado warning here on the air. We'll be back with you momentarily. Stay with us.
You've been watching a live special report on NBC North Dakota News, your news leader.
And just bear with us, everybody, as we're getting some information. And right dead center your screen, unfortunately, from Bismarck, you got the hill toward Mandan. You can, right there, I think we're probably losing it, but it does appear that we just witnessed a tornado here about 2 minutes ago, moving toward the right or toward perhaps the north, but still a lot of circulation. So what I want to do, we'll come back to this in a minute. I want to just kind of show you what's going on here with the circulation. And again, we do have a tornado warning for Morton and Oliver County. I'm going to turn single site radar on, and we'll go from there here. And again, we can even see perhaps a little bit of a hook. I think that was quite obvious that we saw a tornado there. Not 100% confirmed. We're awaiting some reports on that. But I'm going to turn velocity on. And again, there is a pretty good velocity couplet here. And this more or less is most certain a tornado. Funnel cloud for sure. Now, I don't know if that
a roping signature there on the right.
Okay, I'm going to go back. I'm going to go back here. And we'll have to focus in on it. Actually, yes, you can see it there. Once we get the focus here. Yeah. We are working on that very closely. You got to go the other way there. I'm going to go back to radar while you're working on that here. Let me know when you got that. Okay, again, developing situation here with a tornado warning for Morton and Oliver counties. It was pretty evident that we did see a tornado, and we're working on that perspective here once again. And I'm going to turn velocity back.
There you go, Kevin.
You got it back on. Okay, let's go back to velocity again, right here southwest of center. I'm going to put a motion on this. And again, this is moving toward the southeast, the tight center of circulation moving toward the southeast, perhaps toward the Sweetbriar Lake area on I-94. Again, it's rapidly evolving. A minute ago, you could pretty much make out the funnel. At the moment, you can't, so it could be lifting back and then coming back down. So we're just going to stay with this for a minute. Jacob is in here as well, so he'll be monitoring this. No doubt you can definitely see a rotation of just the overall system itself, not necessarily a tight funnel or a tornado, but I'm pretty sure that we did have a tornado here on our Skywatch just a moment ago.
And that would have been north central Morton County or south central Oliver County. This is past Mandan. Mandan is not in the tornado warning right now. But as I even zoom out a little bit here, you can see the overall structure of the cloud and then that lowering on the bottom left. So from that lowering or wall cloud is where the tornado would come from. Now some of what you're seeing is just scud clouds, and that would not be the tornado. We need that smooth funnel cloud, and we had that at one point. It might have been a quick, brief tornado, but we could see it rotating rather rapidly as it moved off towards the east. So continuing to watch this lowering to the west of Mandan, again, north central Morton County, south central Oliver counties. You want to be in your tornado safe place as you're under a tornado warning. The National Weather Service still has it for radar indicated based on that velocity signature that you see on your screen, but that doesn't mean that a tornado has not already touched down. The storm might be cycling and might drop another tornado at any moment just because of the overall rotation that we see at cloud level.
Yeah, we definitely have confirmation of funnel clouds, as I can see in the chat here with the National Weather Service, with some of the professional folks monitoring this. There's even a DOW here in western North Dakota, Doppler on wheels, somewhere in western North Dakota. So they're getting some scientific reports of this. So really all eyes are on North Dakota tonight here with our severe weather potential.
Looks like you can see a little bit of sky there right on the horizon on our Skywatch camera, so it's probably not something on the ground right now, although
underneath you can see, yeah, clearly all the way through, so whatever it was lifted up. Yep, the sun is shining through, so it did lift up here. But again, this could be very well cycling back. This is a mesocyclone that could very well pop another tornado at any time. Again, don't have confirmation it was a tornado, but no doubt a distinct funnel cloud. Looking at this one photo, which we can't show at the moment here, but may have made contact with the ground. But again, this is something we're keeping a very close eye on, and especially, we're mostly rural here, but just for those in the Bismarck-Mandan area, I want to put a motion back on this here. And again, we can begin to see some of that east-southeast track here, and that's what has me most concerned going into a more populated area, of course. It doesn't matter exactly where it is. Tornado warning is tornado warning, but again, heading into a more populated area of Morton County here, perhaps in the next, let's say, half hour, and for Burley County as well. It's likely going to cross over into Morton County, not the tornado, but the thunderstorm itself, and then into Burley County. And again, the thing is, out ahead of this, the air is very, very moisture rich, and that's why I think this storm is going to sustain itself and keep going. And this is the southern storm. And oftentimes, these northern storms might begin to weaken a bit here if the dominant supercell thunderstorm becomes the southern periphery. That could very well happen. And usually it's your southern storm that produces the tornadoes. Not always, but in this case, that appears to be happening here. And again, a very tight circulation.
Photo 2
continues. Okay, and I'm going to just stay with us and bear with us here if you would for a moment. I'm going to get some new information here.
Getting some photos received to skyspyphotos.com. If you have any of your photos that you would like to submit, please submit them there and we can show them on air.
Okay, I'm going to show this photo here. This was a photo just received here. This was west of Harmon Lake at 7:40. Again, cannot confirm whether this was a tornado, but no doubt a funnel cloud, that is for sure. If anybody does have any confirmation that this made contact with the ground, we'd like to hear that. You can reach out on our social media channels, and more photos at skyspyphotos.com. So again, sorry for being a bit clunky here, but this is a breaking situation here. Again, with this possible tornado, definitely a funnel cloud, but we're treating it as a tornado warning. It can make contact with the ground at any time. At the moment, live view, I don't see anything that is circulating that would suggest a tornado at this time from this vantage point, but there's a lot of movement going on. So I think in the mid layers, we have a lot of rotation, and we've got photo 1, which I'll show you in a minute here, with very large hail. That looks to be maybe, I'm going to show that here in a second here. I'm going to get back on there.
About 2.5 inches in diameter?
About 2.5 inch in diameter. Okay, I'll get that on the air here. And we will do that in just a moment.
So this is the same cell that could have produced that tornado. This is in southern Oliver County where this hail fell, and moved up the ruler there a little bit. If you refresh it, you can see about 2.5 inches in diameter. Of course, you can see it compared to the quarter as well.
Which is a good reference point, because the quarter is 1 inch in diameter. I would refresh it, but then I have to go back out and in. So That's a photo. Again, this was earlier from west of Harmon Lake at 7:40. And a live view here, again, keeping an eye on this tight circulation. At the moment, though, I don't see anything I don't see a funnel cloud zoomed in here, and therefore a tornado, but that can change in just moments. Looking at all these thunderstorms here, this is what we've been waiting for all day along, the initiation of these thunderstorms. And again, I'm going to turn on the velocity here. And you can really make, well, we might be losing, actually, according to radar, we're losing a lot of that lower level rotation, but not to say it's not happening higher up in the clouds, which means a funnel cloud could pop back at any time here. As far as any hail detection, again, within the confines of the tornado warning, we do have a bit of a hail shaft southwest of center. Again, between 1 and 2 inch diameter hail. Putting a track on that over the past hour or so. Again, the hail was a bit more significant, according to this algorithm, southeast of Beulah. This is not going to affect you in Beulah nor Hazen, but again, in Oliver County here. Looking at some new information here. Again, back into western Oliver County, perhaps between 1 and 2 inch diameter hail. We'll go back here to the single site, and I'm going to put a motion back on this. And just as long as we got this tornado warning, we're going to keep with you here for a little bit longer. And again, actually might even begin to start seeing some more bolts from the blue, and that's why it's important too to, if you hear thunder, get inside, because we might be having some anvil lightning here, or some lightning out ahead of the storm that's striking maybe 20, 30 miles away from the storm. So we might be having some cloud to ground, some CG lightning here, cloud to ground lightning taking place. We can see some lightning strikes well ahead of any rain here, moving into northeast portions of Morton County and northwest Burleigh County. But again, we're staying with you a bit more than usual, simply because this storm could very well be making its way toward Bismarck-Mandan over the next hour. So remain weather aware. Let's hope this begins to weaken, but again, there's a lot of very, very moisture-rich air here in Burleigh County, Emmons County, and that is feeding into this thunderstorm. In addition, more warnings here, again, downstream of Garrison for McHenry, McLean, Sheridan, and Ward counties until 8:45 Central Daylight Time. Clustering of thunderstorms here, even a left-moving supercell earlier, splitting thunderstorm cells here in McHenry County, one moving toward the left or north, the other one toward the south. So a lot going on here out of Minot. So Minot proper, the threat for severe weather for this time is over. And for Dickinson, it looks like it's not going to be a stormy night for you, other than the storms that are coming in out of eastern Montana, but that won't be until later tonight, and likely not as severe as this round, again, moving through central North Dakota, with the most important feature here, that tornado warning for Morton and Oliver County, again, north of Sweet Briar Lake, until 8:15, the next 15 minutes. And we'll await the National Weather Service to see if they do issue a new warning.
Getting a couple more photos in, of that possible tornado, or at least the funnel cloud. Those were submitted to SkySpyPhotos.com. We appreciate your photos.
SkySpyPhotos.com. We appreciate it, and it always takes me a moment as I do this. Just know that there's a tornado watch, which means remain weather aware. Be on the watch out for tornadoes. Although I think the threat is ending near Dickinson, even Minot, as we're getting a really good handle on the proximity of these thunderstorms producing perhaps tornadoes here. And I'm going to just put this back up in here, and so I can show you in just a moment here, but it's that tornado warning we're most concerned about northwest of Bismarck-Mandan. Here's another perspective. This is from northwest of Mandan as of 7:50, about 10 minutes ago. Again, we're getting more photos here at SkySpyPhotos.com. We really, really appreciate it to alert all of our viewers as to what is going on. And this one here from north of New Salem, looking toward the southeast, I believe, here as of 7:50. So
I believe that would be looking to the north.
I'm sorry. Yes, correct.
This would be
this is from New Salem,
correct.
Or is this? No, I'm sorry. This is north of New Salem.
And this cell might, like you mentioned, deviate a little bit down to the south instead of just track straight to the east. Sometimes these thunderstorm cells can do that, and this is the same cell that produced that 2.5 inch diameter hail, possibly this tornado that you can see on screen, at least a funnel cloud. Currently, there is still a little bit of lowering, but not as significant of a funnel cloud or a possible tornado as what we saw before.
And it's so true, Jacob. The thing is, the threat for tornadoes maybe through sunset or so, and that's not till what 9:40, 9:45 or so. But later tonight it becomes more of a straight line wind event as all of these thunderstorms begin to congeal into a line. And we're familiar with what happened last week. Don't believe we're looking at a derecho here, but still straight line winds perhaps in excess of 75 miles per hour. That'll be later on, but right now these are still discrete cells here. And of course, with this supercell thunderstorm northwest of Mandan and northwest of Bismarck, looks like I got a new tornado warning here.
I think they're just extending.
They're just extending it out, but still until 8:15. So the time is still about 10 minutes.
We're trimming
or so.
off the back edge of it.
Yep. So that has not dropped off on our system, but they're trimming that part off here. But still, just to the north of I-94, all the way to center, a tornado warning. I'll put the velocity back on, and again, at least in the higher up, we still see that circulation pattern going on. It's not super distinct, but it's distinct enough where we do have rotation. Not on the ground from looking at our live Skywatch camera from Bismarck. But again, what we're going to do is we'll take a break here because there's no tornado right now from what it looks like. But that can change in an instant, and we'll be back with you on that because I want to wait and see what happens here at 8:15, whether they reissue a warning or not. But right now, I don't see a funnel cloud. I don't see, therefore, a tornado. But that can change because this is a rapidly evolving situation. We've already had reports of up to baseball-sized hail, golf ball-sized hail, and larger around Hanover, and several reports of that, and again, with our funnel clouds as well. So this is a photo received a little bit earlier, northwest of Mandan. This one here from north of New Salem at 7:50. We've got this large and damaging hail. This was in the Hanover area. This is what we feared here. And again, we're looking at about 2.5 inch diameter hail here. That would be upwards of tennis ball size hail. Definitely larger than golf ball, which is 1.75 inches. And another funnel cloud photo here taken from west of Harmon Lake. One more live look. Again, conditions don't look nearly as severe as they did a few minutes ago, but we're going to keep an eye on it. Of course, with these thunderstorms putting a motion on them, just remain weather aware because Bismarck, Mandan, we are not out of the woods. This storm may continue diving into the metro. We're going to keep a close eye on that. Stay with us. We'll keep you up to date. We're going to regroup. We'll be back with you here as conditions warrant.
You've been watching a live special report on NBC North Dakota News, your news leader.
Looking farther to the west along that Morton-Oliver County line area, southern Oliver County, northern Morton County, where the tornado touchdown would have been. And this was looking to the northwest from Mandan at 7:50 as the tornado was still likely on the ground at that point. And check out this incredible photo from north of New Salem. You can see all the lowering clouds. So we were identifying that on our BSC camera when we were on the air earlier. Those wall clouds coming down, and then the initial touchdown point for the tornado would have been right there. So a relatively skinny tornado, but when you look at the entire structure of the storm, still very impressive because it needed to have strong enough updrafts or strong enough rising air to produce hail the size of tennis balls, 2.5 inch hail. You can see it compared to a quarter there. This was in Hanover at 7:35, just before the tornado touched down. And this is the view from our BSC Skywatch camera live. Not seeing a tornado on the ground right now, but we can see still that lowering, the very tall clouds that are likely rotating up here. And that is kind of the winds rotating aloft, sculpting those supercell thunderstorm clouds.
Pretty good shear environments here, and again, tapping into a really moisture-rich environment with these thunderstorms here. And that's what has me most concerned, as you, Jacob. The whole line of storms here. So Minot out of the woods, Dickinson, no threat for severe weather, and certainly not in Williston, but we can really make out where the show is going to be here from east of Minot, south of Minot, along US 83. But for the Bismarck, Mandan Metro, we don't have a warning right now. That is subject to change here because of this thunderstorm. And again, we can still make out a little bit
defined hook there.
A defined hook here on the radar, not velocity here, but just the actual radar single site scan here from the Bismarck radar. That big white dome you see when you go to the Bismarck Airport nearby there. So still some circulation. In fact, let me turn on the velocity, and it's pretty evident. You can have almost inclusive there, but I mean, the thing is, we don't know because we can't really make it out. I mean, is it rain wrap? This is kind of a lower precipitation supercell right now, not necessarily producing a lot of high precipitation, but again, a really good indication here, at least with circulation there, mostly over rural areas, which is obviously critical here for the time being. If this were to continue holding together, and again, as it tracks in still a very moisture-rich environment, a lot of instability, a lot of surface-based cape, in other words, a lot of atmospheric instability present here as these storms will be going into that untapped air source here, coming in toward the Bismarck-Mandan area.
Now this is moving slowly, 20 miles an hour.
Very slow. In fact, it's
to the southeast. So
correct.
It's got that
southeast.
More southerly track now. Initially it was just due east. Now the track is a little southeast, and we see that sometimes with supercells where there's more moisture, there's more energy for them to the south, so they'll curve to the right. And you can see that on the motion there. It was kind of in Oliver County, tracking to the east, and then made a little bit of a southerly deviation, now crossing into Morton County. At the bottom of that hook, that's where the tornado would be. It's still a radar indicated tornado warning, so we don't have confirmation that the tornado is on the ground anymore. It was on the ground from about 740 to 750 southwest of Hanover in Oliver County. And this tornado could drop back down at any point.
Certainly could.
That's the cyclical nature of these supercells.
And the other thing is, there are some thunderstorms moving into western South Dakota. There's also a huge complex of storms also on I-90 in South Dakota. So that might affect this linear system as it becomes more of a line later into the night. We might see some of that moisture supply chopped off here, which would just prevent more severe winds perhaps later tonight into southeastern North Dakota. But that doesn't matter now, because when the moisture is already in place here in North Dakota, with the Gulf being wide open for over 24 hours. And again, this tornado warning is not for Mandan nor Bismarck, but this tornado warning is for portions of Morton and Oliver County, rural areas until 8:45 Central Daylight Time. Sweetbriar Lake, technically in the proximity of that tornado warning. And again, just looking at our Bismarck State College camera, don't see any circulation on the ground, don't see a funnel cloud. That is subject to change. Lots of rotation, at least a waft from our vantage point right now. And again, you can kind of make out north of Sweetbriar Lake some circulation, not real a tight, no gate to gate, you know.
So this would be winds blowing towards the radar and winds blowing away from the radar, and that would be that tight couplet or tightening of the rotation. And once that colors become brighter, then we see tighter rotation. Now this is getting closer to the radar site, as you mentioned, so we're getting really good low-level radar data to figure out where the tornado could be and if it's still on the ground. But we still need those spotter reports to confirm that something is actually touching down. Now the hail core is to the north of the tornado threat, and that's still up in southern Oliver County, just to the south of center.
Now, I don't want to scare anybody. We want to prepare people, right? But these supercells can be cyclical. And what's, you know, one thing we got to keep an eye on is, you know, we might not have a tornado right now, but it could drop another tornado downstream of where there is one now. And with the movement of this storm moving in toward Bismarck-Mandan, not saying there's going to be a tornado, but it's just so critical to stay weather aware. Do not let your guard down if you are in the capital city or Mandan. Anywhere in eastern Morton County, western Burleigh County, remain weather aware. It's critical because, again, anything can happen at any time. I'll put on single site where you can, what's happening is we're getting some of the Minot radar and some of the returns from aloft and with the ground here at the Bismarck radar. But this is strictly the Bismarck radar right here. It really gives us a good indication of the storm structure itself.
So I'm going to try to put a track on this storm. It's moving to the southeast at just 20 miles per hour, so very slow moving. But if it were to continue to move down to the southeast, it would be in the Bismarck area in about 45 to 50 minutes, maybe up to an hour from now. Now this is, again, this storm deviating a little bit more to the south, taking that right turn, like we've seen over the past hour as it's moved through parts of Oliver County, now into Morton County. And you certainly want to be thinking of the possibility that a warning could be issued downstream for this storm into the Bismarck-Mandan area. Right now, no warning for Bismarck or Mandan. The tornado warning is just to the west and north of Mandan, and just to the northeast of Sweetbriar Lake. This is in northern Morton County, where the tornado would be crossing into, kind of right on the Oliver-Morton County line. The hail threat would be just to the north of the tornado hook echo in Oliver County. Do you want to try to zoom in there close up?
I'm going to zoom in. I'm going to turn the query off just for a moment. And again, maybe quite a bit of anvil lightning perhaps out ahead of the storm.
Heidi was just letting us know that she was able to hear thunder in parts of Bismarck. So
even anvil spreading east, and again, we could be getting some CG, some cloud-to-ground lightning there. I want to expand the view, and then we want to talk about the storms east of Minot. But again, there's nothing going on in Sioux, Emmons County, Burleigh County right now, other than the lightning in northwest Burleigh County. However, in the Bismarck-Mandan area, lightning strikes are imminent at any time, if not already, as meteorologist Heidi Haroset had already been hearing some thunder in the area. And of course, we got the McQuaid Charity Softball Tournament going on, so it's critical to remain weather aware for that. We knew this was going to happen today. We just didn't know exactly where the storms are going to form. Let me go back north here. Again, Turtle Lake, you've got a severe thunderstorm warning with this cell here now to the southeast of Max, east of Garrison, perhaps up to ping-pong size hail. Drake, so back into McHenry County, the Carlsruhe area. A little bit of training going on too, so perhaps some possible flooding going on in rural areas here north of 52. Rugby, you've got a severe thunderstorm warning as well. So Pierce County with some active weather, and of course going even east of there, all the way toward Devils Lake. So remain weather aware. This is where the action is. Look at the outflow boundary just to the east of Minot, moving west. Will that initiate thunderstorms? Probably not. Moisture, the atmosphere is a bit more stable back toward Minot. But again, the big show here is what's happening on the southern periphery of this, and that's where the tornado warning is, northwest of Mandan, northwest of Bismarck, until 8:45. I'll turn that back on. Just in case you're joining us right now. And again, till 8:45 Central Daylight Time, tornado warning for portions of Morton and Oliver County. Not Bismarck-Mandan, but that could change at any time.
And as you mentioned, this is the southern cell of this entire line of thunderstorms that has developed, and it's kind of in atmosphere that hasn't been used up yet by any thunderstorms, and
that's right.
Untapped moisture potential. So usually the southern cell on a line of storms can be the tornadic one because it can ingest the greatest shear or changing wind direction and speed with height, and it can ingest the greatest moisture. So this still is a concerning signature where you have that hook at the bottom.
Definitely rotation aloft.
And it did produce a tornado because we got train spotter and public reports of that tornado at 7:40 to about 7:50 p.m. So this would be, if you're at the Double Ditch area, you certainly want to be seeking shelter. But if you're due west of that, that's where this possible tornado would be, just crossing now into northern Morton County, right at the tip there of the hook on this storm. Now the hail is still up here in Oliver County, probably going to move into the Baldwin area shortly, into parts of Burleigh County. But the tornado threat would be the southern part of the cell, right where that hook is on radar. And on velocity mode, if we want to load that up,
I'm going to go back here.
We can still see.
Let me see here. I got to get back to it.
That rotation component. So green's blowing towards the radar, red's away from the radar. And again, that's still up at cloud level. We are pretty close to the Bismarck radar, but we can't see right down near the ground what the rotation is doing. So the storm clouds aloft are certainly still rotating, and this could drop another tornado as it moves down to the southeast. That's why the tornado warning is in place. So if you're in that red outlined polygon area, you want to be seeking shelter and being in your tornado safe place until that warning expires. And as you mentioned, could get an extension on the warning because the cell doesn't have anything impeding it as it moves to the southeast, and it's kind of been taking that track a little bit more southerly as it's evolved over the past hour. Still looking at some of the radar data behind the scenes and reports as they've been coming in. If you're just joining us now, this was the site earlier of the funnel cloud as it was likely lifting off the ground. This was likely when the tornado was on the ground at about 7:40, a perspective from west of Harmon Lake and a perspective from northwest Mandan. The tornado was in parts of southern Oliver County, northern Morton County, and this was another perspective of that from north of New Salem, likely when the tornado was still on the ground before it lifted. And we haven't seen anything from our Bismarck Skywatch camera to suggest that it has dropped down to the ground again.
Nope, I don't see anything like that at the moment. I'm going to zoom out again, though.
Certainly still a hail threat with the storm, at least in Oliver County. This was the site in Hanover at 7:35. But on our Bismarck Skywatch camera that we've been referencing, that we've been looking at behind the scenes, you can really see some sort of lowering here to the overall very tall thunderstorm cloud. And once this lowering gets even closer to the ground, that would classify it as a wall cloud, which then a tornado can form out of, and that's what we saw at about 7:40 p.m., now almost an hour ago, when that tornado was on the ground. So not seeing that right now. Now to the right...
Is that a beaver tail, or I can't tell with that?
Certainly a lot of heavy rain here. This is probably where the hail would be on the northern side of the storm. But the tightest rotation is going to be on the southern part of the cell, and some sort of rotation happening there. A little bit of lowering, but not nearly as close to the ground as what we saw earlier.
And again, yeah, the key is, Jacob, we got to just remember too, if you're just joining us, that this storm could cycle. It's produced tornadoes, it's produced the funnel clouds, but it might produce another one at any time. The Weather Service still has a tornado warning in effect, but if you're in the Bismarck-Mandan area, remain weather aware. We're doing what we can to keep you up to date here, also on social media, just because this is going to likely affect a more populated area, of course, with the metro over the next half hour.
So going back to SkyTracker radar, we have several severe thunderstorm warnings to the southeast of Minot, as Kevin has been mentioning. The threat for further severe weather, or any severe weather, in Minot is likely not going to happen, as most of the instability and energy for further thunderstorm development is to the east of the Magic City. As these thunderstorms continue to track off to the east, they could produce very large hail. We saw a couple of these storms split off earlier. One went to the north of Rugby, another one near Esmond now. A lot of clustering of these storms around Karlsruhe and Esmond, as Kevin has been mentioning. We could be seeing some flooding there because of the back-building nature of these storms. They're rather slow moving as well, so one area is likely seeing a lot of heavy rain, as well as certainly frequent lightning and some large hail within these cells. Around Karlsruhe, just to the south of the Butte area, east of Garrison, cell that's not warned around Underwood, but certainly we're most concerned about the cell that has the tornado warning still on it until 8:45. The hook is not as defined now as it was about 10 or 15 minutes ago, so that's good news. The rotation, when we're looking inside the storm here at velocity mode on radar, is not as defined as well. So again, that's good news that we might be seeing this storm weaken and the rotation broaden. The greens are going to be winds blowing towards the radar, and the reds are winds blowing away from the radar. But if I put this into motion, you can see how the couplet, or the very tight rotation of those bright greens and bright reds, was a lot tighter back to the southwest of center, as this tornado was likely on the ground there in southern Oliver counties before this rotation has broadened. The colors aren't as bright now. So as we're also looking at our Bismarck State College Skywatch camera to the west, kind of also seeing that confirmation that likely nothing is on the ground right now. Now you still want to treat this tornado warning as a threat that a tornado could drop at any moment if you're in the Crown Butte Lake area, as well as to the northeast of Sweetbriar Lake. you want to be in your safe place because this tornado warning still remains in place. The overall cell itself is still rotating, the thunderstorm cloud at cloud level.
Yeah.
But we're seeing a positive trend here that this is broadening a little bit.
It seems to be, because we don't see any evidence, but still some rotation. And the downside is this is getting closer to the Bismarck radar, which means it's going to be tougher to make out the rotation anyway. Earlier, it was a great perspective because it was farther away, hitting the storm at just the right level where we indeed did have that tornado earlier. Got a report of tennis ball size hail again 7 miles west of Hanover. That was at 7:34. So this storm has had a history of very large and damaging hail. And of course, more thunderstorms east of Minot and McHenry County. But this is the one of most concern here. Again, with this tornado warning, it's not producing a lot of rain yet. However, there's a new discussion that just came out from the Weather Prediction Center for Central and Eastern North Dakota with regard to the potential of very heavy rain tonight with this thunderstorm complex that might actually just turn into a big line, a mesoscale convective system here as it moves into southeast North Dakota. We see some development there northwest of Carrington, so we might see some activity developing out ahead of this line. Not the same environment as last week, but there are some similarities and ways here. But again, chances for some very heavy rain, mainly the way it looks right now to the east and to the south of Bismarck later into the night. Well, Jacob, I think we're going to regroup here. And of course, make sure you join meteorologist Jacob Morse at 9 o'clock on Fox. We're going to keep you up to date with this weather information as certainly as this encounters a more populated area of the Bismarck-Mandan area. Should a tornado warning be issued or anything here, we're going to be keeping a very close eye on that. And we want to make sure that we have all the information we need at our fingertips here. And then we'll be back with you here in just a little bit later on.
You've been watching a live special report on NBC North Dakota News, your news leader.
Jacob, tornadoes and hail, what's still going on there?
Well, we have multiple severe thunderstorm warnings in place. No more tornado warnings for now, but that doesn't mean that these strong cells that have rotation aloft could drop a tornado as they track to the south and east. Severe thunderstorm warning in the Bismarck area as well as including Mandan. The main cell is just to the north of downtown Bismarck. This is where the heavy rain is. Frequent lightning, even some hail of severe caliber could be to the north of the 43rd Avenue corridor up toward the Baldwin area. So certainly the northern side of the capital city, and then around rural areas in central Burleigh County moving off towards the east. This was what this cell produced earlier in parts of southern Oliver County near Hanover. This was captured by Sarah Larson of that tornado that was on the ground at that point, and there were several other photos from various perspectives showing that tornado between about 7:40 and 7:50 before it lifted and tracked into parts of Morton County. That cell, the cell that was responsible for producing the tornado, is now this one in Burleigh County, just to the north of Bismarck that I've been talking about. Will shift just to the north of Menoken. Looking again closer into that cell, most of the downtown area of Bismarck, this is just to your northeast, but there are some lightning strikes away from the heavy rain. So if you're hearing the thunder, you do want to be indoors and seeking shelter. Earlier, when we're looking inside the storm at the velocity mode, you could really see a tight couplet, or where the rotation within the storm was very tight and strong. And that is where the tornado touched down south of Hanover, south of Center. Now the rotation is weaker, but there is still rotation at cloud level in North Bismarck, and we can see that on our BSC Skywatch camera looking to the north. Very dark clouds, bit of a gust front here where the storm is moving eastward, and there's been a little bit of some lowering at times here, but nothing concrete that we've seen on the ground like we saw earlier with that tornado in Oliver County that was on the ground for about 9 minutes between 7:40 and 7:50. There were other reports of up to baseball-sized hail in parts of McHenry County, as well as around tennis ball-sized hail in parts of Oliver County. You can see that here in Hanover that fell at 7:30. 5, and then in North Bismarck we had just larger than quarter-size hail at about 9 o'clock. So a couple more severe thunderstorm warnings to go over here. This cell around Fort Clark and Washburn, another one just to the south of Butte going up the line to the northeast. More cells that are weakening a bit now around Esmond and Maddock, and this one no longer has a severe thunderstorm warning. So this entire line of storms is shifting off to the east. We just got a tornado warning live here on the air, so I'm going to zoom into that. This is near the Harvey area, and we're going to go back up here, zoom in. This is for parts of Pierce and Wells counties. This tornado warning continues until 9:45 p.m. Just to the northeast of Harvey, the downtown part of Harvey, but this cell will continue to track to the southeast, again including parts of Pierce and Wells counties. We'll continue to see how this cell evolves, but looking inside the storm at the velocity mode, wow, that is some tight rotation, and that is why the National Weather Service issued this tornado warning. Again, that's going to continue to track down to the south and east, but winds that are blowing away from the radar are in red. Winds blowing towards the radar are in green. So we'll continue to track that storm as it goes down to the southeast. Quick look at your 7-day forecast. We'll have calmer conditions over the weekend. Warm temperatures continue. Highs remain in the 80s as we approach the 4th of July, Alan.
Ooh, all right. Well, let's just stay safe tonight.
Yes.
Well, we still have some serious concerns out there, Kevin.
Yeah, we certainly do. Again, Emmons County with a tornado warning as there was a funnel cloud reported northwest of Tenvik. Here 7 days ago, it was 101-mile-per-hour wind gusts recorded in that area. Tonight, it's a funnel cloud that was reported, again, just northwest of Linton, Emmons County, including Linton. You do have a tornado warning. We can see some of that velocity signature here where we've got the reds and the greens coming together, and that simply means a tight circulation in the atmosphere. This is the storm that we had earlier that produced that funnel cloud again in western Emmons County. There is a warning here for Emmons County until 10:30 Central Daylight Time. I'm going to put a motion on this, and again, not that we do have a tornado or even a funnel cloud right now, but this is going to probably track right toward Linton or just to the north here. Again, should there be a funnel cloud or perhaps even a tornado, let's hope not, but it is a possibility. Therefore, a tornado warning is in effect. Other thunderstorms to speak of, multiple ones here, including another tornado warning for northeastern Wells County, not in Harvey, not in Fessenden. A large severe thunderstorm warning here going into Sheridan, again, Wells County here, and more thunderstorms. It looks like this one north of Bismarck in Mandan is going to stay north of town the way it looks right now, but there could still be some development back toward possibly the Bismarck area. That remains to be seen, and again, maybe a little bit of a circulation here as well. We can almost make it out here. A little bit of dumbbelling going on here. It's a possibility of some circulation. We've had circulation with this thunderstorm already, and again, this is the second one moving through the area this evening. So Baldwin, remain weather aware. You've got that severe thunderstorm warning, and Sterling as well. Reports here of some of the more large and damaging hail reports, including northeast Crown Butte Lake here with baseball size hail, 2 3/4 inch diameter hail, also east of Carlsruhe and McHenry County, west of Hanover. Oliver County getting hit hard tonight with large and damaging hail. Golf ball size hail is 1 3/4 inches, so this is tennis ball size. Also south of Douglas, golf ball size hail, south of Max, southwest of Strawberry Lake, golf ball size hail. Under that again, under Carlsruhe rather, but above 1 inch diameter. So a quarter, the size of a coin, a quarter is 1 inch. So we've had some of that north of Mandan, north side of Bismarck, north of Towner rather, and south of Hazen. Many hail reports. Again, the largest coming in tonight, not softballs, fortunately, but we have had baseball size hail and many reports of tennis ball and golf ball size hail. The severe weather threat remains here into the night. Hail and the chance for tornadoes, as we might have in Emmons County and Ward County, or rather Wells County right now. Ward County is in the clear here in the Minot area, but these clusters of thunderstorms will likely form more of a line into the night as they move toward the southeast and still encounter a very moist, unstable air mass toward eastern North and South Dakota. The wind away from thunderstorms, not too strong, around 5 to 15 miles per hour, but in the proximity of the storm, still some some outflow could be in excess of 50 miles per hour, and that wind threat will actually increase closer to the South Dakota border the next several hours here, again, as that becomes more of a line in a straight line wind threat. Now, going through the weekend, thunderstorms continuing to press toward the east here. But still, enough instability for the first half of our Saturday. Could see a pop-up shower or thunderstorm continuing at almost any time, but more on an isolated basis with high temperatures topping out in the mid to upper 80s. Still a little bit humid, but less humidity for the second half of the weekend on Sunday. A nice day, in fact, a lot of sunshine near 80 degrees, a little breezy. Should be a really nice day, not as volatile as it is right now. Again, for tomorrow, temps in the 60s early on. Could be a scattering of rain. Showers in the area, maybe a few rumbles of thunder. Severe weather threat is somewhat minimal, with highs in the afternoon topping out in the 80s all throughout the area. And our 7-day forecast, once again, looks like things will be calming down beyond tonight, but remain weather aware, even in Bismarck-Mandan, should there be some development a little bit farther toward the south here. But at the moment, it might stay just north of the metro, but signs of circulation. These storms could still produce a tornado the next hour or two.
So we can't really breathe easy yet.
Not yet. Again, Emmons County tornado warning.
All right.
All right, pressing weather information to pass along. Vivid lightning, of course, from our Bismarck State College camera. We do have a tornado warning with a confirmed tornado 8 miles north of Bismarck, moving southeast at 10 miles per hour. We're going to cover all the radar because we've also got a tornado in the Linton area. This is a particularly dangerous situation for the Timvik area here. Take shelter now. Confirmed tornado. Weather spotters have confirmed a rotation making contact with the ground, therefore a tornado. Again, you can see the circulation here not far from Linton in the Timvik area. Tornado warning until 11 o'clock Central Daylight Time for Emmons County. Now, back as we expand the view, a thunderstorm here on the north side of Bismarck. This as well producing a tornado warning. We have a tornado warning for southwestern Burleigh County and south central North Dakota here, as a confirmed tornado was located 8 miles north of Bismarck, moving to the southeast at about 10 miles per hour. And again, we can see some of the rotation here on the north side of Bismarck, perhaps crossing over US 83. This is moving slowly toward the southeast at 10 miles per hour. You can see the red outline. That is the confines of the tornado warning, which does split the city on the north and east side of town. We do have a tornado warning until 11 o'clock. Stay with us here. We're going to regroup in just a few minutes. We'll be back on the air for a complete and total recap.
Center. This is a live severe weather update.
All right, everybody, greetings once again with you, with meteorologist Jacob Morris. I'm meteorologist Kevin Lawrence, tracking tornadoes. They are confirmed, Jacob. We're going to cover this camera here, and again, where we have vivid lightning, cannot detect a tornado now that it's getting dark here, but we're going to talk about the radar here. A couple of different areas of concern, one of which is again in the Bismarck area and also in Linton around Timvik, with a tornado that was confirmed, just like this one on the north side of Bismarck. Confirmed tornado here in southwestern Burleigh County until there was a confirmed tornado. This tornado warning goes until 11 o'clock. At 10:25, just about 10 minutes ago, a confirmed tornado was located 8 miles north of Bismarck. It's moving southeast at approximately 10 miles per hour. Put a motion on this. Actually, we can just go to our velocity here for a second, and we can really make out now whether that's it. It could very well be. Let me turn the motion on here. And again, where you see the reds and the greens coming together, that is probably some AP or something like that right there. But we can see the circulation again on the east side of town, pretty evident to us. But again, I don't think this is anything right here. That could be something else. That could be some of the wind turbines or something of that nature. But it's not that. It's more or less to the east. And we zoom out a little bit here.
You're talking about over here with
over
the strong
there.
winds. Yeah, this might be just some contamination.
That's what I'm thinking, of some sort here. So again, regardless of that, though, as we put a motion back on this, we can definitely see a where the arrow is here, the white arrow, there is definitely a circulation here. Damaging tornado is a possibility along with tennis ball size hail, as weather spotters have confirmed a tornado north of Bismarck. Okay, more on that in a moment, but we've also got a tornado warning in the Timbic area. Emmons County, a tornado warning, and this goes until 11 o'clock. A PDS tornado warning, meaning a particularly dangerous situation because this could be affecting Timbic. Again, Linton, don't let your guard down. The potential is definitely there for a tornado. We can see the circulation here. It's very, very evident. It's almost like it's stationary. Look at that.
Just rotating.
It's rotating about itself there. I mean, right on top or very close to US 83, not far from Linton. And now it's becoming even more dangerous despite being illuminated with lightning. However, it's nightfall now. And I did see a tornado photo from the Cannonball area across the river. So be mindful of that in the Morton County area, Sioux County area as well. Not that there's a tornado there, but we have been getting some tornado images coming from across the river looking toward the east. So once again, Emmons County, tornado warning until 11 o'clock Central Daylight Time. Definite, very tight circulation there. Back to Bismarck, Mandan. The circulation is not quite as tight. However, the radar is too close. So it's very hard to detect in town. Despite that, we can still see some circulation with the radar being pointing up, but quite ominous sky, that's for sure, with this possible circulation here now ending up to the basically going to the east side of Bismarck. Don't know if we have a confirmation of a tornado at this exact moment, but it's something we are keeping a close eye on. I'm going to turn the radar back on here, and again we can see where some of the higher returns are here for the radar.
And the hail likely staying to the northeast of Bismarck, heading towards Menoken and Sterling, though. You can really see that being pinpointed up to 2-inch.
That's a really strong hail core. That's on the north side here of this particular storm. So still, we do have a very large hail core, in fact, here.
The warning is for tennis ball size hail here in parts of Burleigh County, northeast of Bismarck.
123rd Avenue Northeast, 80th Street Northeast in that particular area. It looks like for sure, again, and let's check out the hail here. Also, just northeast of Linton, perhaps up to 2-inch diameter hail there, probably more like ping pongs, but again, a good possibility of that. All right, Luke, thank you for what you're doing there, working behind the scenes here. Okay, I'll go back here and we'll, obviously, there's a lot of lightning with this, but I'm going to turn on the motion of the radar. And again, on the backside of the system for the Timbic-Linton area, we do have a tornado warning for Emmons County until 11 o'clock. And again, the higher population area here in the Bismarck Metro, tornado warning also until 11 o'clock here. And that was also a confirmed tornado 8 miles north of Bismarck, moving southeast at 10 miles per hour. Okay, Jacob, if you want to add anything to that, and I'm going to turn the velocity back on.
Seems like the main tornado threat is going to stay to the northeast of downtown Bismarck. As you mentioned here, Kevin, identifying the area of circulation as it moved to the southeast towards the general direction of Menoken. So if you're in the Menoken area, you want to be in your tornado safe place. That would be an interior room away from windows at the lowest level of your house. The velocity data suggesting that there might be that couplet or the winds coming together in different directions to create spin in the lowest layer of the atmosphere right there to the northwest of Menoken. So we're watching that very closely, but also want to keep people in the Bismarck area aware of the situation that you may have received those tornado warning alerts. If you are in this polygon, in the red outlined area, you do want to be in your safe location just in case that the tornado would track in that direction, since there was confirmation of it on the ground earlier to the north of Bismarck. But the greatest threat for tornado at this point would be to the east of the main metro over towards the Menoken area, kind of on the southern edge of where the highest returns are on radar. We can also identify that with the velocity mode, where winds are moving in different directions, spinning in a counterclockwise rotation right north of Minokin. Now we're getting a little bit of bad data here. That's what the purples that you see, because we're really, really close to the radar site. But the warning continues until 11 o'clock.
Can we go back to the Bismarck Skywatch?
Yes.
By chance, and just so how vivid this lightning is. And again, we hear thunder in the studio as well. Almost non-stop lightning here. It's pretty impressive.
And there's been reports of lightning occurring even where it's not raining, because these thunderstorm clouds are so tall. The anvil, or the top of the clouds, can produce lightning, and that can strike a couple of miles away from where the heaviest rain or hail is.
That's so true, and that's why hopefully everything was okay at the McQuaid tournament tonight. I don't know if they postponed play. I'm not sure. I have not heard. But again, you don't want a large crowd of people when you got lightning like this. It would have been, I'm sure, over by now. But again, still a large gathering of people. We can see the Capitol here. Look at all that lightning again. So I'm going to recap what we've got going on here with these tornado warnings as Jacob gathers more information as well. And I'm just going to do something real quick here. All right, here, we'll just get this going. Okay. And as far as any heavy rain that is going to be staying out of Bismarck itself, downtown Bismarck anyway, but again, I'm going to turn the velocity back on because that's what we're most concerned about. So it looks like things are doing pretty good here for Bismarck itself. This is moving closer to perhaps Minokin.
An important note that with both of these warnings, a couple minutes ago, they were confirmed tornadoes. So there was weather spotters reporting to the Weather Service that there was a tornado on the ground. Now both of the warnings are just radar indicated rotation.
Meaning there's no more tornado likely on the ground.
But there still is rotation aloft at cloud level, so a tornado could form again
any time.
From
that's
these
right,
storms.
and that's hence the warning, right? So
that's why the warning remains in place.
Exactly right.
Even though it's not the higher level of warning, the confirmed tornado on either of these, you still want to be in your safe place if you're in those tornado warning boxes.
And again, look out Minokin. You're on the edge of the tornado warning, pretty much right to the doorstep there. But that's where the circulation is a bit more intense. Bismarck proper, things are settling down despite a lot of lightning, of course, but the threat for a tornado, I think, is ending with this storm. So that's good in the Bismarck-Mandan metro. Look at some of these impressive hail reports from earlier. Again, the Crown Butte Lake area, baseball-size hail in McHenry County, east of Carlsruhe. West of Hanover, tennis ball size hail, along with south of Douglas, south of Max, golf ball size hail, along with the Strawberry Lake area. So impressive amounts of hail, unfortunately, with these storms, as we've been predicting all day long. We didn't know exactly who was going to have the most hail earlier today, but these storms have pretty much formed about the time we thought they would, and we would know that there would be some large and damaging hail. Now, brand new tornado warning was just extended here. I'm going to get some information on that. That is populating live on the air here. Again, this is downstream of Bismarck. I know it's kind of busy. It's getting messy here, but I'm going to get some information on this.
Go to Skywatch.
Okay. Skywatch. We might actually have a tornado. Let me go back. Here, hit the view button.
There we go.
Okay.
It was illuminated by the lightning for a second there, just to the right of the Capitol building from this perspective, looking off towards the east. Got to get this loaded back up. So
okay, can we pan the camera a little bit? I'll take care of this. I can't pan it from here.
And it looked like just a funnel cloud.
I'll just do this.
But still something to be aware of, something concerning. And this would be to the east of the Bismarck metro area, but certainly some lowering there and funnel
we have
of some sort.
Connection we're trying to get reestablished here, so bear with us for just a moment here. We'll see how this turns out.
It looks like it's not there anymore, but from this perspective, it was just to the right of the Capitol building. And that would have been with the storm that's now around the Minokin area. So still a very vivid lightning show here.
Yes, and the lighting itself is probably interacting with our camera, and that's unfortunate at the moment. But you can see some of that illumination way east of Bismarck, way down there to the right. You can actually see it a little bit better here.
Down in this area,
yes,
when the lightning illuminates it,
So pay attention here. It's really hard to see. Not the lightning that's overhead in Bismarck, but the lightning that's way off in the distance here. closer to Minokan. It might be very hard to make out here, but we're going to zoom in anyway if I can get control of this camera. Is there anything, Luke, that you want to pass on? Okay.
We're getting in some tornado video from the cell north of Bismarck a little bit earlier. So we are preparing that to show on air. But again, both of these tornado warnings continue. We're going to go back to radar briefly.
If you want to do that, I'll take
tornado warning has been extended here in parts of Burleigh County. And
do you have that ready to go?
This, I need to finish it up there.
Okay, go ahead. I'll take care of this. All
Just
right.
switching off here, and we're going to be able to get this in.
We want to get this
system.
new tornado picture for you here. But again, this tornado warning, again, at times possibly illuminated a funnel cloud to the east of Bismarck, closer to Minokan. And that would be about this area because our Bismarck camera is on the west side of Bismarck at BSC, so looking due east here, and that would be about this area here. So again, if I turn on the velocity, that is exactly, I'm sure that's what that was, that is exactly where we are beginning to see that tight circulation. So Minokan, get to your safe place no matter what here, because that circulation could very well be right there in Minokan or very, very close by, with a tornado warning continuing here for Burleigh County until 11 o'clock Central Daylight Time. All right, so we don't want to forget our friends here in Emmons County. Again, we've got circulation now crossing over or basically on top of US 83. It might be weakening somewhat, though.
Right over Lincoln, though.
Linton, a tornado warning does continue, though, until 11 o'clock. So, again, we're still seeing some circulation. So, we've got two storms here that are rotating. These are those rotating supercells. Again, Bismarck proper, you are not in the area of concern as much as around Minokan right now. I think we're okay in Bismarck Mandan at the moment, but again, don't let your guard down in case we get some more development. I'm going to go back to the regular radar and just show you here where things are lining up, turning off lightning, because there's so much lightning here. And again, I'm going to put a motion on this. And again, I'm going to
that cell north of Bismarck kind of took a dive south at one point,
and then it went, yeah.
Then it went to the east-southeast.
Yeah, look at that over Minokan there. That's a really good classic signature there.
So Minokan, certainly you want to be in your tornado safe place,
Could be
but now moving
here
east of the Bismarck area. So kind of just dodged the metro.
There could be another something here popping up southwest of Steel. Hard to say here at this perspective.
Another hook
possibly
developing.
Could very well be. So we could have multi-tornadic storms, a possibility.
And all three of these cells are on the southern edge of the line that's shifting eastward, and that's where the greatest spin is in the atmosphere, the greatest instability. We still have humid air, so
that's
that
right.
Can allow these storms to really intensify quickly. So we got in some video from North Bismarck of earlier. This isn't happening right now, but the tornado was on the ground, it looks like, from this video. This was taken just before the 10:30 time frame.
So during the newscast, we had this taking place.
I believe so.
Right, okay, all right. Yeah, because you can see on the radar, you can see that tight circulation. So this is very impressive. Again, this is that storm that was back in Oliver County again, that moved into northern Burleigh County. Can you tell here whether it's a tornado? It's hard to say, but I would venture to bet that is a tornado. You can see outflow from the where this person is taking this video. Look at the trees moving around. Can't tell how far away this is. Any reports of how far this might have been away?
This was at 10:32. We got the confirmation of the time. So that was the situation when the rotation within the storm was a little tighter. Then it weakened a little bit as it went just northeast of Bismarck. But rotation could tighten back up. Tornado could drop down once again around the Minokan area. That's why that tornado warning was extended into parts of southeastern Burleigh County. So certainly areas around Minokan and Sterling that you're in that tornado warning. This one is now observed again. So this tornado warning for Minokan and Sterling down to Long Lake, if it tracks in that direction, confirmed tornado near Minokan. Tennis ball size hail also possible with this storm.
Yeah, I'm really concerned about the Minokan area here. Get to your safe shelter now, because this again, could very well be a dangerous situation. We got a confirmed tornado again. So
on the ground
we
near
don't wanna mess
Minokan
around.
right now.
Yeah, and look at that circulation. I'm going to go back here and turn it back on. Right on top of Minokan right now, within the past minute or two. So if you're in Minokan, get to your safe shelter, get to your safe place right now.
Interior
Don't
room,
venture out.
away from windows.
Away from windows. Basement would be ideal. Storm cellar, but I know we don't have too many of those. But just make sure there's as many walls between you and the outside as possible. It just takes one tree to kill somebody.
So
or
weather spotters,
anything flying in the air.
weather spotters confirmed this tornado at 10:47, so just 5 minutes ago. It was reported crossing Interstate 94 near Minokan. Power flashes were also reported in the area. So that's a confirmation that the tornado is on the ground, went over some power lines, power poles, and toppled those to create the power flashes. So certainly critical situation happening around the Minokan area because of at least some damage to power infrastructure for power flashes to happen. But confirmed tornado, again at 10:47, this was reported by weather spotters to be crossing Interstate 94 near Minokan. And that's going to continue to track to the southeast at 20 miles per hour.
And you can really make out the general area of where this would be here just by looking at the velocity scan. And again, down in Emmons County, the same situation. We got a pretty tight circulation going on here, not far from Linton. Again, right on top of 83, maybe a little bit east of 83 now. So again, just if you're in the Linton area, seek shelter. If you're in the Minokan area, seek shelter because these are confirmed tornadoes at one time. The one that is confirmed right now is that the Burley County one. So keep that in mind here because, again, that is a residential area and a lot of people live there. So hopefully everything is okay at the moment in Minokan, but we're giving you a heads up just to know there's a tornado warning here and don't venture out. Please don't venture out for the sake of video or photos. It's dark out there now, a lot of lightning out there that's illuminating the sky. But again, that is dangerous in and of itself.
If you want to go back to reflectivity, the normal product that you see on radar, just a classic hook shape.
I'm going to go back there. Yeah.
On that storm. And right where that hook shape is where the tornado is going to be happening. And that's right over the Minokan area. If it continues on its current track, it would be just to the south of Sterling, but Sterling, you are in the tornado warning, so you want to be in your safe spot. And if it holds together, it would be around Long Lake, not too far into the future. But right there over Minokan, you can see that C shape. That's that hook that produces the tornado, and we do have that confirmation of the tornado happening.
And it does appear that this circulation is perhaps moving in toward the Long Lake area. We'll be keeping an eye on that. Just kind of looking at this and tracking it out here.
You could also have tennis ball sized hail to the north of the tornado.
Yeah, this is a classic supercell. Look at the structure of that to the north of the interstate there. So on the interstate, we're probably going to have at least tennis ball size hail between Minokan and Sterling. That's going to be a problem.
We turn on the hail detection here, and you can really see that pinpointed just to the north of where the tornado would have gone through, north of Minokan, moving down towards McKenzie and Sterling with the hail core from that storm. And with the Linton storm, still some hail over 1 inch in diameter. This storm is no longer to be a confirmed tornado, but the tornado warning does continue for about 4 more minutes. So that remains in place. You want to remain in your shelter until it expires, but the rotation, thankfully, has really weakened with that. We can just see more of the greens, the bright greens, instead of the reds and the greens right next to one another like we had just a few minutes ago to the west of Linton. So that tornado warning will likely be allowed to expire, but that doesn't mean that this cell is done producing tornadoes. It could drop another tornado as it shifts off to the east. But still, the most concerning signature was around Minokan not too long ago. The rotation is still fairly tight, but not quite as intense as it was as it crossed I-94 near Minokan when that tornado was confirmed.
Yeah, it's a concern here, again, for the Minokan area, but maybe not as much, but still, just don't let your guard down because the tornado warning continues here, moving toward Long Lake here. And again, we can maybe see that circulation tightening up south of Minokan now. So this may have crossed over Minokan. Hope there's no tornado that took place, but a lot of circulation on top of town here the past 10 minutes.
Yeah, right there where you see the reds and the greens together. I want to go back to the normal radar product because there was a little bit of back building that happened, and that's how this cell formed that's now over Minokan. There was a couple of supercells that passed just to the north of Bismarck, but cells formed behind them in their wake, possibly from their outflow. So that's the cool winds from the rain that comes down, and that can spark more thunderstorm development, sometimes behind and in the same path that the initial cells passed over. So we just got a new tornado warning for that cell just to the north of Bismarck. I was identifying that, and just now that tornado warning popped up because of that spin that's still in the atmosphere to possibly create a tornado here. This would be just to the north of Bismarck. We're going to put a motion on that, and it could be sliding down to the southeast, particularly impacting the northeast side of Bismarck if it were to be on the ground. Now, we are rather close to the Bismarck radar, so that's something that we need to be aware of in terms of assessing these storms. That tornado warning will expire in a couple of minutes, but we do have this one in the Minokan area as well as around Sterling. That continues, if I shift this far enough over, until 11:15. So something to be aware of. This warning back towards the northern side of Bismarck will likely be allowed to expire. This cell that I was talking about back building likely doesn't have enough rotation to produce a tornado just yet, but we're going to continue to watch that closely. The most concerning cell is still the one around Minokan. So the Bismarck area itself, within the main metro population, some of you are still under a tornado warning, so you still want to be in your safe spot, but the greatest risk is to the north and to the east of the main population center of Bismarck. But we do want to obviously keep people informed outside of Bismarck, around the Minokan area, that still could be impacted by this tornado that was confirmed at one point. The rotation would be still right around the Minokan area, maybe now moving just down to the south. It's becoming a little bit more cluttered here. So we're not seeing as tight of rotation as we did just about 10 minutes ago as it passed over Minokan. The greens and the reds aren't as bright or as close to one another, but the tornado warning will remain in place until 11:15. So something to still monitor as it tracks down to the southeast. But good news is that in the Bismarck area itself, even though there's a little bit of that back building factor up to the north where that shower has developed, north of kind of the intersection between 1804 and 83.
Non-severe.
It's non-severe at this point, and since it's in the wake, like right behind the first cell that's now over Minokan and Sterling, it probably won't have as much of the atmospheric ingredients to produce a tornado or as large of hail. So,
and what we want to do too is, now that it's 11 o'clock here, we want to just clean this up a little bit, and Bismarck no longer under a tornado warning at all in the town here.
Yep. So threat shifting east of Bismarck. We can say
still
that
Minokan. I mean, that's still pretty wild.
Areas Minokan, Mackenzie, Sterling still under this tornado threat. And that tornado warning around Linton, that was extended. That continues until 11:30 now.
Yeah, look at that circulation still. It has
kind of re-intensified a bit.
Yeah, see, these might be pulsing, and so we got basically twin areas of circulation here. And by the way, before I forget, I just want to thank everybody. I think I've gotten 50 photos in just the past half hour of that tornado north of Bismarck. My phone's been blowing up from friends that are sending me pictures and videos and everything, so we're all getting that. But thank you very much. At SkySpyPhotos.com, we got to go through all these later on. We'd like to get more on the air, but we all get the idea of just what's going on here. And again, these two distinct areas of circulation with these 2 tornado warnings, again, near Monocan, and again, just to the northeast, or basically east, I don't know why it's doing that, but east of Linton here. So I'm going to zoom in, and again, we'll turn on the regular radar, and the heaviest is going to be, perhaps with the baseball size hail, is going to be east of Linton. But again, Strasburg area, you as well, under this tornado warning, which has been extended, as Jacob said, until 11:30 Central Daylight Time, with that circulation on the west side of the system. And then back here, again, that Monocan system, Burleigh County, it's impressive because we can see it on the radar scan, and we can see it on the velocity too. This storm south of Steele is not a tornado-warned storm, but likely producing very large and damaging hail south of Steele, southwest of Tappan at this time. And no doubt, these storms are producing a tremendous amount of lightning, for which I'll turn off because it's just so much lightning. But again, pretty impressive, I must say. And I hope everybody is heeding the warning here and taking this seriously, because that's why we're here. It's exactly why we're here, just and staying on the air to let you know that, again, it's a critical situation when we've got 2 tornado warnings with, in fact, confirmed tornadoes. So it's important to remain weather aware, as we've been saying all day today, and to obviously take this seriously. And again, all the videos and photos from a distance, but it has been impressive tonight, Jacob, with everything that's gone on. And all these storms that have been producing tornadoes.
Well, when we got that tornado watch issued earlier this afternoon, the reason they went with the tornado wording instead of the severe thunderstorm watch was because of the amount of spin in the atmosphere to produce these tornadoes. And we've seen at least 2 now touch down, the one around the Hanover area in Oliver County, as well as now the one that was around Monocan. Might have touched down as well to the north of Bismarck, but certainly a night that has featured numerous tornado warnings, as well as very, very large hail. We've seen many, many reports of golf ball sized hail, tennis ball sized hail, even up to baseball sized hail, as we were alerting you to earlier this afternoon, because of the amount of instability in the atmosphere. And fortunately for Bismarck proper, a lot of the storms missed to the north and to the east. There might have been some people on the northern fringes of Bismarck or northeastern areas of the capital city that were impacted, but the main population center was fortunate that a lot of these supercells just tracked to the north or to the east of town.
Kind of interesting thing on the, look at that, north of Linton. Again,
like you said, it's almost stationary and wrapping around itself.
You can kind of see it wrapping around itself there with those 2 systems that are converging here. And it's interesting, just north of Linton, and at a time over Linton. That's fascinating. And the fact that it's not moving very fast. So again, turning on the velocity here, you could just make out that circulation just as plain as day. Not as intense.
It was a lot tighter earlier, so the rotation was certainly stronger, and that's where the confirmed tornado with that one came from. That warning is now for radar-indicated rotation instead of weather spotters confirming that tornado. The verbiage on the warning for southeastern Burleigh County is now for radar-indicated rotation. So again, that's good news that weather spotters are no longer confirming that tornado.
It looks like a little bit of a circulation over Sykeston too, but that might be more aloft. But that's a little bit of a signature there as well. It's a thunderstorm warning, but you get some of the reds and greens pretty close together south of Sykeston. And if you just kind of look at the imagery as it's rotating through, you can kind of see a counterclockwise rotation to it. So there is definitely a bit of a spin and probably aloft. Again, at the moment, no confirmation of anything other than a thunderstorm warning. But still, thunderstorm warnings, they can turn into tornado warnings in no time. Any thunderstorm can have a tornado, so keep that in mind here, especially with the amount of instability we have in the atmosphere with what we call vorticity and everything going on. A lot at play here that is providing for this very active night. Now, lining up along and to the east of US 83, except for that storm here, which is still west of 83 in Burleigh County, having moved through Monocan. And I'm really hoping that everything was okay in Monocan. I keep checking my phone. just in case somebody has texted me.
And that warning continues for about 10 more minutes.
10 more minutes, okay.
Southeastern Burleigh County.
If anybody's in the Minokan area, if you could send me a private message on my meteorologist, Kevin Lawrence, just because I have it on me here, to pass that information on. Lots of photos from North Bismarck with that tornado. But again, I just want to make confirmation that we do have everything intact in the Minokan area. And again, with that circulation, getting ready to approach the Long Lake area. So if you are around Long Lake on 83, take shelter. You are technically in a tornado warning. And
now the rotation is more broad now than it was earlier.
North side of Bismarck earlier, again with that tornado. So a lot of photos coming in here. Wish we could get them all together right now. But we are aware, obviously, a tornado with confirmation. So again,
that was north of Bismarck.
That was north of Bismarck.
And that was the same cell that would have moved through Minokan.
Correct. Yes, that is correct. So that did produce
and we
tornadoes.
Have a new tornado warning south of Steele.
Okay, so that's the one I was just kind of questioning about.
Yeah, it formed another hook.
It did here. I'm going to go back. We got the circulation. So we got 3 systems going on here at the same time. So we're going to stay on here. Again, this, fortunately, rural areas, but I'm going to go ahead and query it anyway. I'm going to turn this on. Tornado warning. Let's see here. Let's just get some information on this. Obviously for Kidder County until 11:30 at 11:06. We're talking 2 minutes ago. This is a radar indicated tornado. No confirmation like we've had with some of these other ones, but radar indicated. And again, we can see it here, radar indicating the circulation 9 miles south of Steele or 34 miles north of Linton, moving southeast at 20 miles per hour with the potential for up to 2-inch diameter hail. That would be larger than golf balls, smaller than tennis balls. And again, this is a radar indicated. So this is a very, well, southern Kidder County, pretty rural anyway, but again, on Highway 3, a tornado warning here. Again, we can really see that circulation. We've got the one back to the west.
I want to pass along some important information that our news director shared with us from the Burleigh County Emergency Management Director. The Sheriff's Department in Burleigh County is requesting no travel in southeastern Burleigh County due to the quote, extreme storm activity. So don't try to drive down towards the Long Lake area because of the rotation that is still evident on radar and the tornado warning that is still in effect. But no travel is advised or no travel is requested into southeastern Burleigh County due to the activity that we have ongoing. And that confirmed tornado passed over I-94 around the Minokan area by now about 20 minutes ago. And this tornado warning, I believe all of them are now radar indicated tornado warnings, which you still need to take seriously. But we did have a couple of those confirmed tornado warnings earlier.
Large hail possible in the McKenzie towards Sterling area. Keep that in mind. Again, that storm is just dumbbelling right through Sterling here and, within 5 minutes or so. So again, Sterling, you are under a tornado warning. That's the most important thing, more so than worrying about damage to your vehicles, but that is a possibility with large and damaging hail.
Tennis ball size hail is the verbiage for that warning.
All right, and then in southern Kidder County, we have at least 1 inch in diameter hail. Again, rural areas, but let's say 48th Street Southeast, in that area here. Some pretty large hail, and that's coupled with 26th Avenue Southeast, again, southern Kidder County. And then still looking at some hail returns here east of Linton now. So again, on pretty much over Highway 13 here, a chance for maybe 1 to possibly 2-inch diameter hail. So Linton, you're still under that tornado warning. I'm going to go back here to...
Main circulation's moved east of Highway 83 now.
Which is good.
Yep.
Yep, that it definitely has, as you can see. But that crazy spin continues.
Shifting south to near Strasburg.
It is.
So you're under the tornado warning, Strasburg, and the rotation might be shifting within the storm down to the south. Maybe more
aloft now.
Yep.
Again, it's just strictly guessing here, so we don't want to guess and say you're off the hook, because you're definitely not. But everything is shifting southeast of Minokan and again toward the Long Lake area. I'm just going to check my messages here and make sure that we're okay here.
and turning back on kind of the normal mode for radar, showing where the heaviest rain is, and of course all of that lightning, just so that we can see the radar product, turning that off as well. And then we're going to zoom in to, again, the 3 tornado warnings that are still in place. The one in southeastern Burleigh County continues until 11:15.
Everything is good in Minokan from somebody.
Okay.
Getting a
That's good
lot
news.
of messages. Appreciate all the messages. I can't respond to them personally about is so-and-so going to have a tornado since we're on the air here, but thank you for all the messages. We appreciate it, but glad to hear that Minokan at the moment is okay.
And the one in eastern Emmons County continues until 11:30. And the tornado warning in southern Kidder County also continues until 11:30. Also, don't want to forget about people up near Bowdoin, Carrington, Woodworth, seeing
Sykeston area.
Sykeston.
One of my Sky Spies there I've known for a long time, Troy's reporting that several funnels reported in the Sykeston area here with marble-sized hail and about 55-mile-per-hour wind. That's the one we were talking about. See that? Look at that circulation there with several funnel clouds reported. So I'm surprised the Weather Service has not issued a tornado warning for this.
We're a little farther away from the radar
We're a
site.
little bit. So this is a loft, right? But the fact that several funnels were reported by a credible source. So again, treat this as a tornado warning if you are southeast of Sykeston, if you are southwest of Carrington, perhaps in the Melville area, eventually Edmonds. Again, a circulation is headed toward your way, getting out of our viewing area here, but toward Edmonds eventually, maybe the next 20 minutes or so.
And certainly
Lots
heavy
of
rain,
rain.
lots of lightning. And that cell is warned for golf ball sized hail for the Sykeston, Carrington, Melville area, moving down to the southeast. Want to zoom back out on radar, going to turn off the lightning product again and hone in on these 3 tornado warnings that are still in place. Still a little bit of a hook echo there at the tip of the white arrow east of Linton. And if we switch over to the velocity product, the rotation certainly isn't as tight as it was around and just to the west of Linton.
Jacob, I do want to say I got a new note here that all was well in Minokan. That could have
That's
been at the moment, but earlier I just got a text here saying, just spoke to a friend who said the tornado ripped through their yard. So there was a tornado in Minokan. So, and they were seeking shelter, getting to a shelter rather, a short while ago as this was crossing over in the Minokan area. So it does look like a tornado, unconfirmed, but moving through or very close to Minokan here.
And we had those other weather
while
spotter
ago.
reports of it crossing I-94 and the power flashes that happened earlier. This warning, the initial warning was going to expire at 11 o'clock, but now they've, the Weather Service has added another warning kind of on top of this just to extend it until 11:15 because that circulation is still fairly tight just to the northwest of Long Lake. So this tornado warning continues for parts of southeastern Burleigh County until 11:15. And just wanted to pass along the message again from the Burleigh County Emergency Management Department that the Sheriff's Department for Burleigh County is requesting no travel into southeastern Burleigh County due to the quote, extreme storm activity.
And it's very true because, again, we're getting confirmation in southeast Burleigh County, possible tornadoes here, east central southeast Burleigh County, excuse me. And again, with this new tornado warning as well in Kidder County, so it keeps getting extended out.
And down into northern Emmons County as well. The
Correct.
tornado warning kind of clips that part, just in case that cell dives down to the south.
The most impressive thing away from radar, though, is this. Again, south of Sykeston, southwest of Carrington, again, a pretty tight, see, there's some convergence there a little bit, too. So, I mean, pretty impressive. So, hopefully everything is okay there in the Sykeston and Carrington areas. So, but it is a severe thunderstorm warning at this time. And again, we're not an agency that issues the warnings. That is strictly the Weather Service. I guarantee you they are monitoring it extremely closely. Many thanks to the Weather Service meteorologists for all the hard work they're doing tonight. It's amazing, all the coordination going on. Not only that, but at the Storm Prediction Center in Oklahoma, keeping a very, very close eye on our area tonight.
And highlighting this area in south central North Dakota for having the greatest tornado threat. So kind of pinpointing that risk and letting you know ahead of time. Now I wanted to mention with the storm around Sterling now, there's a little bit of that back building just to the northeast of Bismarck, but that likely won't turn severe as the storm right around Sterling is, so to speak, using up all of the energy in the atmosphere, as well as the storm in Emmons County east of Linton, because sometimes in these situations the southernmost storm becomes the most intense.
That's very true. And I'm sure people in Napoleon, Logan County, McIntosh County, you're wondering, are we next? And I would say that is a very good possibility.
Now this storm is still very, very slow moving.
That's the thing. It's slow moving, but if you're in Wishick, you're in Ashley, Zeeland, look out. Stay weather aware. You don't have a warning right now in these areas. I'm going to keep turning this off.
And
here.
what can happen with very slow moving thunderstorms that are severe and possibly producing a tornado is that they can have deviant motion, so they can kind of move erratically instead of just going in one direction. Kind of like what we saw around Linton with that circulation dancing around. Wherever the circulation tightens up in the thunderstorm cloud, that could produce another tornado as it goes down to the southeast, because that's the southernmost storm in North Dakota, at least. There's more storms farther south, but that has some of the most rich energy coming in from the south.
And kind of think of it like a spinning top, right? After it starts to lose some of its the tight spin, it kind of wobbles. Mm-hmm. That was kind of what was happening there north of Linton there for a short while. So again, just different perspective here with the velocity, different color
scale,
I guess, if you will, here. You can really kind of make out that circulation is east. Really, it's east of Linton now. Linton's okay, but east of Strasburg, and again, eventually moving into McIntosh County. So if it were to hold together, maybe west central or southwest McIntosh County. I'm going to turn to a different color here, and just to kind of highlight even more so, look at that circulation. It's really evident here. I mean, east of Linton, and now maybe not as intense as it was, but you can really make that out. Almost, actually two of them. Look at that. You got one maybe move a little bit toward the left there, so it's a possibility.
Earlier we had a storm that split in two.
Yeah, right. So that might be two circulations going on there.
I wanted to mention, though, in southern Kidder County, we just got a report of a confirmed tornado there. So at 11:11, a confirmed tornado was located 9 miles south of Steele, moving southeast at 20 miles per hour. So the warning is for that tornado that is confirmed and 2-inch hail. We also got a report of a tornado southeast, 8 miles southeast of Driscoll. But these tornado warnings...
Right here, you can kind of just make it out. You can just see where that circulation is.
Wow. Pinpointing it based on these reports and then looking at the velocity mode here inside the storm. Incredible.
Yeah, that is pretty amazing.
The rotation looked to be a little more broad in the last couple of radar scans, so
like
the tornado might have been brief.
Yeah. I mean, these tornadoes might be literally 30 seconds. I mean, the circulation might be greater a lot, but they might briefly touch down, make contact, and go quickly back into the cloud. That's hard to say. I mean, just because we see circulation like this does not mean there's a tornado. A lot of this is aloft. It's above the ground, right? But, I mean, there's still, as long as there is a circulation, it is a cyclonic rotation, indicative here, anyway, that we continue with the threat for tornadoes.
And we got another confirmation of a tornado. This was confirmed at 11:13. A confirmed tornado was located 6 miles southeast of Minokin, moving southeast at 20 miles per hour. So this would be with this rotation that we see, or at least the brighter green colors. There's some of this purple color is the contamination from the radar because we're so close to the radar site. There's kind of a sweet spot with radar in terms of distance to get the best data in order to determine where rotation is. But if we're talking that this weather spotter confirmed the tornado 6 miles southeast of Minokin, that would be right around that area. And that would be moving to the southeast at 20 miles per hour.
And that was 11:11, is that correct?
That is 11:13.
11:13, okay.
So about 7 minutes ago. And we can play this back. I'm going to just kind of scrub back on the timeline. You can see how it might have briefly tightened up right there.
The dark, or the greens the bright greens and the really the bright reds together like that is where there's a really tight circulation and the highest probability when it's really tight like that of a tornado.
And that's that couplet that we've been talking about with a few of these other storms. Now, again, possibly getting into a little bit of that contamination from the proximity to the radar site, but still, this tornado warning now has the confirmed tag on it in terms of elevating it in terms of severity. So certainly you still want to be in your safe spot in Long Lake, as this could be heading somewhat in your direction. Kind of hard to tell or pinpoint exactly where that rotation is now, but if you're in the tornado polygon, you want to be seeking shelter, no matter what. Just
Burleigh
as
County, Kidder County, Emmons County. Yeah.
Just as a safety measure.
Absolutely.
Now, all of the warnings are east of Bismarck, so just wanted to mention that for now, and probably through the rest of the night, Capital City looking okay.
And I will say that this event is going on longer than I expected with respect to tornadoes. I really thought that we would see more of a straight line wind.
That all the storms would cluster together. They would form into a line, but they're staying individual, and that's why they can continue to produce tornadoes.
They're still discrete, and that's the thing. Now, last week we had all the QLCS. Now there's a tornado warning.
Up by Carrington, we were identifying that cell earlier. Now, this is kind of in between the Bismarck and Grand Forks radar sites. So we're scanning pretty high up in the storm, and again, a little bit of contamination with the data, but you can kind of make out a little bit of the reds and the greens together just to the south of Carrington.
Yep, 7 miles southwest of Carrington, moving southeast at 25. So this one's got a bit more momentum to it. Tornado and golf ball size hail is a possibility with this, but as I mentioned with our Sky Spy in Sykeston, earlier funnel clouds were reported. And so that could be one reason why, with that confirmation, this is a new tornado warning. Carrington proper not in the warning, but south of Carrington in the warning. Again, that does include the Melville area and Edmonds as well. So tornado warning for that area, but again, not necessarily in Sykeston. Okay, I'm just going to do this.
So the tornado warnings in Burleigh and Kidder counties continue to have that confirmation component on them at some point within the last 15 or 20 minutes. Doesn't mean that the tornado is still on the ground right now, but still have 4 tornado warnings in parts of central North Dakota. So that's why we remain on the air.
Yep. So Foster there and Stutzman, and then we got this one obviously for southern Kidder County. Circulation might be letting up a little bit, but that's a warning until 11:30 for southern Kidder County. And again, just really interesting how on this velocity scan, I mean, we'll go back to the regular radar in a minute, but you can really just make out with this high definition color scheme that we've got here.
It's almost like they're rotating about each other.
It's an interesting, like a multi-vortice thing, but again, with individual supercells here. And again, maybe you kind of look at it, and it
like one went back to the northwest,
yeah, right.
almost.
And then look at south of Sterling. I've not seen anything like this for a very long time personally. Can't remember the last time.
Because sometimes with hurricanes, you can get it's called the Fujiwara effect, a little technical, but the hurricanes rotating about each other. I don't know that was the case here, but certainly fascinating and
a lot of meteorology.
Different deviant storm motion. So the tornado might not be tracking in a straight line. It could be during a curlicue or curving back. That's why the warning includes a larger area than the tornado itself is going to be moving over, just because even as we're pinpointing the exact location of the tightest rotation in the storm, it doesn't mean it's going to go directly to the southeast. It could curve back up to the north or to the south, like we've seen with a few of these. So that's why if you're in a tornado warning, you do want to be in your safe spot no matter what, no matter if it was confirmed tornado, just radar indicated. Treat these storms seriously as we continue to go into the night, and that makes it even more dangerous because you can't see.
Nocturnal tornadoes are the worst.
Now the threat, again, missed the Bismarck area proper itself. So Bismarck itself looks to be good for the time being, and probably through the night, as most of the activity is now shifting east of Bismarck.
Yeah, which is really good here. So,
but still, we have many tornado warnings in place. That's why we remain on the air, even though it's not impacting the Bismarck metro itself.
Yep, that's right. And actually now there's some redevelopment of thunderstorms here, rather intense, back toward Hazleton. So we'll keep an eye on that. Not technically in a warning of any sort in this portion of Emmons County for Hazleton, but those storms just blew up probably on an outflow within 10 minutes. So again, just given how fast and how violent the atmosphere is tonight, who knows? We could be talking about some circulation with this storm on Hazleton, on top of Hazleton, any time now. So we're going to stay with this.
And I was talking about Bismarck being okay, but there is a little bit of that back building factor too behind the storm that produced the tornado around Menokin. Now, most of it staying to the east of the Bismarck area, but watching that closely too, because any of these cells that form on an individual basis could possess some rotation. Now, the concern at hand is, of course, the tornado warnings that still remain in place. The tornado warning in parts of Burley and far northern Emmons counties has been extended until midnight now, so that goes for another 33 minutes. And Sterling, Long Lake, you've been under a tornado warning now for probably 45 minutes, and you'll still be under a tornado warning for another 30 minutes. That's just how slow this cell is moving, and not really wanting to get out of southeastern Burley County anytime soon.
No, it's really not.
And this, in all seriousness, though, has been a confirmed tornado again. That's why the Weather Service likely extended this tornado warning for another half hour. So the latest data, again, back at 11:13, it was a confirmed tornado, but it still remains that way in the warning language that it would be observed. So you want to treat it that way, that a tornado could still be on the ground in far southeastern Burley County.
Jamestown, you've got a severe thunderstorm warning as well. This has been issued and goes until 12:15 in the morning, Saturday morning, or about the next 45 minutes or so, with the potential here for obviously large and damaging hail. This storm is moving toward the east at 30 miles per hour with ping pong size hail and 60-mile-per-hour winds. Not looking at a tornado in Jamestown, but perhaps ping pong size hail. And again, this warning goes in Stutsman County until 12:15 Saturday morning, or about the next 45 minutes. Again, just recapping what's happening south of Carrington, tornado warning with reports of funnel clouds south of Sikeston here a short while ago. Counties included, of course, Foster and Stutsman County. And then we've got this cluster of tornado warnings here, still continuing in the Sterling Long Lake area of Burley County and south of Steele for Kidder County as well, for the query here, and for the storm here in Emmons County continuing until 11:30, or about, well, I guess about 50 seconds or so. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, so there's a couple of warnings that should expire within the next minute. That one in Emmons County, as well as the one in southern Kidder County. So we'll see if the Weather Service extends those warnings. I would guess that they would just issue severe thunderstorm warnings as the rotation is broadened there a little bit. Also wanted to pass along some important news that Napoleon has no power. That is according to a viewer that sent us an email. So even though Napoleon itself didn't see a very strong thunderstorm pass over,
could be lightning strike, could have been an anvil lightning strike, hard to say. Logan County, so Napoleon without power, or at least parts of Napoleon.
Correct.
And again, we're going to see what happens here in Emmons County in about 4 seconds and see if this drops off. If it does, then that is no longer going to be a tornado warning. There it goes. It dropped off, so we don't worry about that. We'll see what happens.
Same thing, southern Kidder County. That tornado warning is gone, so we just have the one in southeastern Burley County, as well as the one in the Millville area. That would be around Foster County, northern Stutsman County. So southeastern Stutsman County.
At the moment, we have 2 tornado warnings in effect here, and again,
sorry, northern Stutsman County.
South of Carrington there, Foster, Stutsman County. Not Jamestown, though. That's a severe thunderstorm warning. Still take it seriously, but not looking at rotation there. And again, southeast Burley, still pretty good rotation, and no doubt the vivid lightning remains here from Bismarck-Mandan. You can see it toward the east very, very vividly. And again, severe thunderstorm warning for southern Kidder County, not a tornado warning.
And I've been mentioning that even after one of these tornado-warned cells passes over your location, you might not be out of the woods because there's been back building or development behind the first cell, like we saw around the Linton area, as well as to the east of Bismarck. But this was the tornado that occurred
North
Bismarck, yeah. And this was the same cell that tracked over the Minokan area as well. Vivid lightning shows you've, I'm sure, been able to see out your window at home because these storms are still rather intense just to the east of Bismarck and many areas in Emmons County, southeastern Burleigh County, Kidder County, and then moving into parts of Logan and McIntosh counties, as well as up towards parts of Foster and Stutzman counties. Certainly getting a good light show, as well as some torrential downpours. There is the threat of some flooding with these storms because of how slow moving they are. So you have to watch that closely as well. And the large hail threat continues, although there's some clustering of the storms farther up to the northeast. That back building is what I'm talking about right here. So another cell developed behind the tornado-warned cell. Fortunately, it developed to the east of the main population center of Bismarck, but another round for Minokan, where that confirmed tornado was nearby. And there was reports of it crossing I-94 at one point.
And no circulation in Minokan, so now we're talking about the potential for just a heavy rain event.
No longer in the tornado warning in Minokan, thankfully.
And we'll turn the lightning on here, and again, well, not as much lightning as typically with in the proximity of a tornado, but still, lightning can kill. Bismarck, Mandan, we are not seeing anything at the moment. I just don't think this is going to back build all the way, but remember, still active jet stream tonight.
So it's not out of the question.
So we might get thunder showers at sunrise, really, anytime tomorrow. But there is a chance for actually another wave coming in from Montana later tonight that could give us some scattering of showers and storms. But really, the severity of the activity tonight is ending up here east of US 83.
And the tornado watch for much of central North Dakota ends at 1 a.m. So really, within the next hour and a half is when we should see these storms to continue to be severe. Now that tornado watch might be extended, especially in eastern North Dakota, as these storms continue to shift down to the southeast. But the couple of tornado warnings that we still have in place include Sterling and Long Lake. We just got another confirmation of that tornado at 11:12 p.m. 2 miles west of Minokan. It was reported by Burleigh County law enforcement.
Let's go into Logan County now with a new warning here. Yeah, that's a big one. That's one warning.
So that warning continues until...
So that's Logan and McIntosh County. Not in Wishick, not in Napoleon either, but for Logan and McIntosh County, Emmons County as well.
So for another hour, because the storm is just so slow moving, we could see, again, some flooding in these areas.
This one is currently 9 miles northeast of Strasburg, 10 miles east of Linton, moving southeast at 20. They're beginning to propagate a bit farther toward in that deeper, rich air. So this is what's going to be happening probably the rest of the night. They're going to start picking up some steam here and more of an outflow or more of a straight line wind event transitioning here into the night as these begin, I believe, to congeal more or consolidate and not be so single cellular, so to speak. And actually, you can kind of see that going on now. Might become more of a mesoscale convective system here.
So that would involve the more damaging wind threat. Probably not to the caliber of what we saw a week ago tonight.
Correct, yeah, right.
But some of these warnings have the verbiage of 60, 70 mile per hour wind gusts. So
could be on its way toward Fargo late into the night here, and again, more of a straight line wind event, more so than a tornado event, perhaps late into the night. But this is all going to be tracking into the southeast quarter of North Dakota and then South Dakota and Minnesota. Probably long-lived here. Again, not to the extent of the derecho of last week, but well over 200 miles. As far as, as the line itself is a possibility from where it began.
So still this tornado warning until midnight for parts of southeastern Burleigh County, northern Emmons County. Looking inside the storm at the rotation, really nothing stands out in terms of tight rotation. If anything, it would have passed just to the east of Long Lake. As I kind of back this up in time, you can see a little bit of the rotation possible around the northern side of Long Lake and then just to the east of Long Lake. Now, there might have been some more rotation that developed in other parts of that storm, but That warning is going to continue for 24 more minutes for radar indicated rotation, as well as 2-inch diameter hail.
Can we go back to Hazleton for a second?
Yes.
Because that storm is just really blowing up on top of Hazleton and Emmons County as far as the reflectivity. That's the storm there, yeah. So Hazleton,
I see.
It's really, really beginning to pick up as far as the returns here, just to the south of Hazleton. A pretty strong core there. Could very well be some damaging hail, I fear, here on, or just in the proximity of Hazleton here. If we can turn on the hail detection there. And
Not super impressive right now. But
that's the tracks. Like go to the.
sometimes
Okay,
when
so
a thunderstorm just
takes a
initially
while.
develops,
Takes a while.
it takes a while for the algorithm to catch up. And sometimes with the initial updrafts of the thunderstorm,
It's too strong. I mean, it hasn't dumped yet.
right,
So.
the hail is still circulating up in the thunderstorm cloud. So
And that's new. This is a new storm. This is a
Correct.
new maturing thunderstorm here. So
now looking at the velocity mode, the winds inside the storm with the other tornado warning that we have in place until 11:45. That's for another about 10 minutes in parts of Foster County and northern Stutzman County. Hard to tell where the rotation would be just based on the distance from the radar here. But looking at the normal reflectivity mode on radar, you can really see the amount of lightning there, as well as the damaging wind threat, because the warning is for 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts as it tracks down to the southeast. Now these might not produce as many tornadoes as they go into the night because they're clustering more together, they're congealing a bit more. What we had happen earlier was the storms were more individual, and that's how they were able to form several tornadoes in parts of south central North Dakota. So kind of a good news situation in respect to these storms possibly forming into a line. You can almost see possibly the initial edge of that line trying to form here. And then damaging winds are more likely into far southeastern North Dakota. So remaining on the air because of these 2 tornado warnings in place. The one in southeastern Burleigh County continues until midnight. And then there's possibly even stronger thunderstorm here in southwestern Kidder County. Severe thunderstorm warning in place for that one, and that would be south of Driscoll. Golf ball sized hail, possible south of Driscoll, south of Steele. Put a motion on this, and you can see this was actually part of that storm that produced the tornado all the way back in North Bismarck,
that's right.
and then in Menoken, and now the tornado threat isn't as great as probably the hail concern east of Long Lake. I'm going to put the hail track here, and you can really see where the largest hail fell.
and again, right over I-94 too, between Menoken and Sterling.
Correct. Sterling possibly being impacted by large hail a little earlier, and now just to the east of Long Lake. Still somewhat of an impressive hail signature with the cell that passed over Linton, now moving into western McIntosh County, and we also have some hail up with these cells around the Carrington area, but not as impressive with those currently. So those 2 products that I was flipping back and forth between, hail tracks shows us what happened in the past, and then the current hail detection product is where the radar is determining where the largest hail is right now. So going back to the main mode of radar, we can see where the strongest cells are and where we still have those tornado warnings. I wouldn't be surprised if the Weather Service drops this tornado warning, just because there's not a whole lot of rotation and the strongest part of the cell might have moved into Kidder County. But there is still a little bit of that hook appearance to the cell back south of Sterling and north of Long Lake. Now we have to match up this mode of radar with the velocity mode, and that has to be at the same place. Now we're also rather close to the Bismarck radar site, and that can introduce some contamination, which is those purple colors that you see. But there might be a little bit of rotation trying to pick back up here northeast of Long Lake. So that's why, likely why, the Weather Service still has this tornado warning in place until midnight, is because of that possibility that another tornado quickly spins up and drops down. And many of these tornadoes, I think, tonight, Kevin, haven't been on the ground for too long. The one we saw north of Sweetbriar Lake or south of Hanover was on the ground for 10 minutes.
That was
might have been the longest
about 10 minutes, around 7:45, 7:50 or so earlier this evening. And that's the one that in the Hanover area produced up to baseball size hail. So that's that was our beginning stages with that one storm that was just south of Beulah that we were monitoring right about the time we were going on the air, or at 5 o'clock, thinking, you know what, we got to start paying close attention to this here. And that's really what got things going. And then east of Minot, and now everything is ending up here to the east of US 83 for the most part. Although, yeah, again, the back building here, I think Bismarck, we're pretty much done. You can't even see the outflow kind of going back toward the southwest here. So, and
everything was forming along a cold front today. So behind the cold front, really no storms have been forming in western North Dakota. Yeah,
that's exactly right. And just again, some of the hail reports here, again, as mentioned earlier, we've got baseball size hail from the Crown Butte Lake area in McHenry County, tennis ball size hail Hanover, south of Douglas, golf ball size hail south of Max. Many, many reports of the tornadoes, of course, here, as seen here from south of the BNI Coal in...
that was in southern Oliver County, northern Morton County.
Yep, this one here again, 5 miles southwest of Hanover. This particular image here was from south of Hanover as well. And again, a lot of photos received. We probably have received about 200 more photos and videos just since we've been on the air covering this here nonstop for over the past hour now. And I just want to say we appreciate every single photo and video, and we appreciate all the reports. It's a collaborative effort, and we simply could not do what we do if we didn't have viewers like you keeping us informed on what's going on. We greatly appreciate it.
Kevin and I are here, but the rest of our First One Weather team helping out behind the scenes by accepting the photos that you submit to skyspyphotos.com. So
check that out.
Hundreds of photos submitted there.
And again, real quick check here. Models are really persistent of wanting to still keep some things back post front into central North Dakota. We'll see if that pans out, but they just will not be as strong as that ahead of the front, where the air, the instability, the cape, or the available potential energy in the atmosphere is a lot greater than behind the front. But still a chance for a scattering of showers and storms, mostly cloudy here for Saturday morning, and then a bit more sunshine in the afternoon, but an isolated storm threat does remain. And then it looks a lot better here for Sunday. Less humidity, a lot of sunshine, a system coming in from the north, but that should stay mostly in Canada, but providing a bit of a breeze for us. So again, tomorrow morning, 60s for the lows, highs in the mid to upper 80s. It is going to be a nice afternoon outside of the scattering of showers and storms, but likely not severe. Quick check of the 7-day forecast here. And again, looks like fairly calm weather beyond tonight. Highs in the 80s for the next several days, including the 4th of July here. But by then, as we would expect, a chance for a few showers and storms. But we'll keep a close eye on that. Before we wrap it up here, again, just want to show you the live imagery here from our Bismarck Skywatch camera. It's vivid lightning, but not in Bismarck. The camera is pointed toward the east here, again with almost continuous lightning from BSC looking to the capital and well to the east in the eastern Burleigh County. When it illuminates there, it's just phenomenal, the lightning that we are seeing. That is for certain. And again, checking on the latest here with the latest on the storms here. I'll put it in motion. Still have one couple of tornado warnings here. That one south of Carrington here, and the other one here for the Long Lake area in south and east of Sterling here. Still potential for some rotation.
The one south of Carrington is going to expire right now.
Yep, that's going to be dropped off.
Yep, it's gone now.
Already. It's
and the one in southeastern Burleigh County will expire in 14 minutes.
Okay. And
that rotation is a lot broader now, so it's not as much of a concern as it was half hour ago around the Minokan area.
Okay, and again, just...
new severe thunderstorm warning there south of Steele.
Yep, south of Steele, got a new warning there. So again, back toward Napoleon, now we got a new warning. Again, this one here,
very large hail possible.
Yeah, it looks like it. I mean, quite evident there. You can definitely see it there on the radar imagery between Braddock and then Napoleon here. So Logan County under that severe thunderstorm warning. Let's see what the potential is here.
Golf ball.
Golf ball size hail. Yeah, maybe even a little bit larger. But golf ball's 1.75 inches in diameter. So that is a possibility, as again, this storm could be making its way back toward Napoleon here over the next couple of, or I should say maybe the next 20 minutes or so.
Now, I did want to mention, as we're dropping people off of the threat for severe weather, that the tornado watch has been trimmed back. So this initially included areas west of Bismarck as well as up towards the Minot area, but since we're not expecting severe thunderstorm development back in these areas that are not shaded in red, that's why the tornado watch was canceled in those areas. But the tornado watch does continue until 1 a.m. For parts of southeastern North Dakota, east of the Missouri River. Bismarck is technically in the tornado watch, but the threat for any more severe storms in the capital city is rather low for the rest of the night. Most of the activity is going to remain to the east, and these cells are still moving somewhat slowly. They're trying to pick up forward speed as they congeal together and possibly form into a line, but we haven't seen that line of storms form yet.
No line yet, that's right. But we can definitely see the convergence factor here with that cluster north of Jamestown, between Carrington and Jamestown. Storms are beginning to merge here and will continue propagating toward the east-southeast. So Fargo likely in for some activity in the next few hours here. But again, these storms are beginning to, here, let me just turn that off here.
They're not weakening quickly like we would sometimes expect after sunset, but there's so much energy still in the atmosphere. There is strong winds aloft, what we call low-level jet coming in from the south, that is providing the moisture source as well as the spin in the atmosphere to keep these storms going after sunset.
That is very true. Despite the fact that we still have that tornado warning, it looks like the threat might be diminishing somewhat now and just becoming more of a hail threat and, of course, a heavy rain threat as well. I think we're going to wrap it up here, Jacob, unless you have any final thoughts. I think
it's been quite a night, though.
We appreciate you staying with us, that is for sure. It has been quite a night here in the First Warn Forecast Center. Definitely appreciate all the reports, all of our pages, social media pages, including the station pages, KFYR-TV, meteorologist Jacob Moores, meteorologist Kevin Lawrence, Heidi Arosta, Megan Chatta, the entire team. We're getting a lot of photos and videos, skyspyphotos.com.
Check them all out.
A lot more we got to get posted here, and we will be doing that. So we'll be sharing a lot more of this information during the course of the weekend. Jacob, thank you so much for your work tonight. We're not done monitoring the activity. We'll just take a break here from being on the air, and we'll come back on if necessary. Otherwise, we'll be on social media and keeping you weather aware in that way. And make sure you have our First Warn weather app and, as well. Okay, everybody, thank you so much. Have a great rest of your night and a great weekend. Thank you so much for staying with us.
You've been watching a live special report on NBC North Dakota News, your news leader.